All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I'm going to do two EV videos. I think grouping these three in the first one makes a lot of sense to me. We're going to cover MULN, FFIE, and CRKN, Crown Electrokinesis or something like that. I don't really know. So many names and so many tickers across these, right? But I actually made a MULN video. I think it was on this candle on the 26th right here. And I referenced these other two stocks. So to me, whether it's going to be just for this moment, maybe it's going to be a little further along, but these three are seemingly moving together right now, all right? So Mullen is the biggest of the volumes with 128 million shares. It was FFIE second with 68 million, and then CRKN at the end with less than 3, right? But the one thing they have in common is they're all under the 8 and the 20 right now, let alone under all the moving averages, right? So baseline, if you've been here before, if not, I say it all the time. I don't like it when something's under the 8 and the 20, but hey, there are still ways to trade everything. You just got to have a plan before you attack, right? So I'll give you my thoughts about tomorrow. I'll give you my thoughts about what's been going on here. But before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, I'm so grateful for it all right? So let's get into it. And I actually think this is going to be a single chapter because they really all do look about the same right now, right? When I look at Mullen, I'm just going to zoom out to show it. We are under all 5 moving averages, let alone obviously the 8 and the 20 as well, right? When I move to FFIE, under all 5 of the moving averages, obviously, as well as the 8 and the 20, and then CRKN under them all as well, right? So I think a lot of the thoughts are going to be the same, and I have to start with, let's go to QQQ. This is essentially the ETF of it, right? This looks exactly the same as NASDAQ, the NASDAQ composite. You can see the candles are the same, the numbers just jump big. Yesterday was wild, all right? When I click, you can see it. This was a 3.2526 day, and believe me, I know that seems like a very insignificant number, but most days should be either up or down a 0.5% or less, right? Like today was a third of a percent down, whatever, right? When you start to cross 1%, that's a little bit alarming. When you start to hit 2%, again, up or down, right? When you start to hit 2%, you're starting to get into the crazy world. At 3 or more, that's just wild. And man, yesterday was wild. I really was hoping NASDAQ would regain a little bit more, maybe get a little closer to 50%, maybe even like that. But we actually completely closed. Look, you can see NASDAQ closed at 17.13. We're at 17.0, right? So we are actually completely under yesterday's candle, let alone being under the 100 moving average, right? So NASDAQ's not looking the prettiest. All right. And to me, like when the indices look bad, the silly things start to do well. All right. And Mullen, FFIE, and CRKN, those are kind of in that like silly world for me. You know what I mean? So though NASDAQ isn't looking good, hey, that might be a decent thing for some of these, all right? This is basically what I'm looking for across all of them. All right. And again, there are different ways to play it. I'll give you in my head, 2 ways to play it, right? You can either make a move from where we're at right now. This basically, again, I wish this thing had more decimals, right? But we're basically at a very low 22 cents, right? Like 21 is just like a little bit lower, right? This 8 moving average is sitting at 27 cents. If we can go from 23 to 27, that's actually, I think, a 20% move roughly, right? We're basically adding 4 cents. Basically, every 2 cents is 10%, right? So that's not a bad 20% move right there. if we can get into that 23-cent world, right? Personally, I would at least rather get into 27 and then trade on up all the way to what is this sitting at 36, right? In my head, I can't do that math as fast. I don't really know if it's more or less, but hey, personally, I don't like being under the 8 and the 20, right? That's not what makes me comfortable, right? What makes me comfortable might make you excited and happy and vice versa, right? So it's all about the different styles. I'm never here saying that this is the best or blah, 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 right? But yeah, I don't like being under the lines, but hey, if we continue up, there's reason to believe we can get to 27. Hey, if we can break the 8, you start to get reasons to believe we're going to go to the 20, right? And green, 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 red, 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 green, green, green. These could be easy channels to get to, actually. So, to me, the big thing's going to be volume, all right? And I'm going to bring out my trusty calculator. Where am I at right there? So we had 128 million shares. I would say the lowest we could probably take, I don't want to drop us to, all right, let's say 105 million shares in a 7-hour day. Oh, wow, no way, that's an exact number. I swear I didn't know that. I'm not that good at math. We need at least 15 million shares in the first hour. A little bit more than 30 million shares in the second hour would be really good, okay? This is the bare bone minimum, and this is not good. What we actually want is more than that 128, right? So let's call it 134, a little more than 10%. If I can get 134 million shares in a 7-hour day, so the range is basically 15 to 20 million shares. The closer or higher we are on that 20 line, obviously is much better, right? But we better be near 15 or 20 million shares in the first hour, or about 30, 40 in that second hour, right? Otherwise, volume will slip, and we will probably this stock is in the all-time low black hole vortex. There are no supports here to catch us. There are no green lines here to catch us, right? Like, there's nothing here. So you need an immediate move. That's the baseline across all of these, right? So when I look at FFIE, two things. Number one, yes, this definitely had a nicer day, right? But hey, end of the day, it's all about the volume, and it's all that same thought, right? The lowest I'm probably willing to accept on volume is 56 million. I definitely want about 80-ish. Yeah, we were at 70. I'll take 80, right? So let's look at the high side. If I want 80 million shares in a 7-hour day, we want around 11, 12 million. If I'm willing to kind of accept, what did I say? Let's just say 55. I think 55 million is kind of eyeballing that. So we want around 8 to 12 million shares in that first hour. You're going to want basically, like, let's just round it, right, to 20 to 20 to 30-ish, give or take, right? So volume is going to be important. Look, Friday was a very low 7 million. We 10x'd volume today, right? I don't want to drop all the way back down to that and lose 90%. That would be horrible. Give me at least this much. Give me even just a little bit better. Clearly, if we do something like that where bigger volume comes, that's going to be it. Look, for me, and I'm actually going to set the alert because we did wick it today. You can see that this was a resistance, and that's what I'm about to talk about. Breaking a single moving average is not easy. When you have two lined up like that, it becomes that much harder, right? If, you know what, let's just do this candle. Let's break into that. $6.67. Even for the religious out there, we're a penny over the bad number, right? So I would love to get into that right there. Again, an alert is not an immediate buy notification, right? You got to come check out the chart, see how it looks. But hey, that's a low 45 on the RSI. There's plenty of room for this thing to go up. If we can get into that, like, 660 maybe. What is this opened at? This thing open, yeah, 660 is even a decent. You know what? I'm going to set another alert at 662. I wouldn't mind a couple pennies before that first one. If we can start to break into it, green, 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 red, 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 nothing, 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 another red, red, red right there. There's a nice path all the way up to the 50 moving average around 12. So I would not mind knowing that. And again, volume should dictate what happens to this. I will say this. I think this is probably worth more eyes than Mullen. Look, it looks like this thing's going up a little bit after hours. I personally don't care much about after hours, all right? I think the fact that it's holding on a 50% gain is an amazing thing, right? Excuse me, sorry about that. Um, Clearly, my lines were pretty good. I'm not really here to brag about my lines because that's like I truly believe that these computer generated lines are better than my manual ones, right? So, but hey, this one should make a bunch of sense why I drew it, this 533. Let me know in the comments if it doesn't, I'll break it down for you. But I hope you're looking at that screen and I hope you're like, oh man, I think I would have drawn something around there too. And hey, lo and behold, we're only a couple pennies below that one, right? So, stuff I do, I really hope you're mimicking it. If you like it, I'm not here saying you should do it, right? But we were talking a bunch on the Discord about just like trading strategy and stuff, right? That's actually a little bit why I'm hinting at all these. But yeah, get me over these two lines and I will believe we're gonna go up there. Listen, I would not be surprised if this thing falls to 430. If 430 doesn't hold, it will lose the dollar quickly and fall down to 330. All right, so. I like this one, and I for sure would love it in that 660 range. I can say that, all right? So part of me kind of wishes I broke these up into a chapter, but I think I'm hoping it's doing well. So, man, I actually probably should have, okay, I would have done FFIE better if I like practiced this thing. FFIE and Crown Electrokinetics. Wow, I never get that name right. They have the exact same setup. I think for me, that's probably the money line. What do you look like? I like that. I'll take this. What do you look like? Where are you at? We'll take this. I think that, look, there is no such thing as safe, but I think this is a little bit of a safer line. I'm going to call it $1.94. An alert is not an immediate buy notification. It's a come check it out. But look, there are things that are interesting here, all right? We are a lot closer to the 8 moving average here than we are here or here, right? That is significantly closer to the door. Now listen, I make this joke often. If you're standing at the door in a blizzard, that's a lot different than being inside of the house, right? Like we're standing at the door, give or take, but we're not over the line yet. But yeah, this is for sure the closest of it. This doesn't look like a silly jump. Look, this was 400K on Friday and 200-ish today, right? So that's 2, 4, it's a 6x. That's not small. All right, that's actually a little bit more than a 6x. No, that's about a 6x, give or take. Okay, nonetheless, that's the thought for me right there. I think if we can, oh, I didn't even say it. I was saying it in my head already. Sorry. 193 is what I like. If we can, I think I set my alert at 194, whatever, right? If I think we can start getting into this 8-8 green candle, that obviously puts us in a decent place on here. The 50% line's a little bit higher. You can almost make $2 the truer line if you really want, right? But I think between that 190-ish and $2, we're starting to get into a place where we're going to believe that the 8 and the 20 is broken. We're going to believe that there's a decent shot all the way up at 280 because it's a lot of red, 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 nothing, 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 green, 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 right? So I'm actually going to draw the line here. I am. I think the 201 is the nicer line to draw. I think if you're a tighter technical person, $2. You already saw me put the alert. Either way, an alert's not an immediate buy notification, right? But I like the RSI. It's a decent 48, right? There's a lot of room to go up. Let's ignore that one. Hey, it wasn't that long. Oh, that's actually roughly where we were. Let me ignore that one and zoom back. Interesting. You're not getting too many super high ones. You can at least get to 63. And hey, going from 48 to 63 is a decent move. Hey, it might at least be an easy wick to profit on, right? So let the lines kind of guide you. And then if, all right, this thing must hold $1.60. If you lose $1.60 on Crown Electrokinetics, I'm thinking all-time lows again. Because again, don't forget, and that's where I'm going to end all of these. This is in the black hole vortex of all-time lows, all right? FFIE. This, oh, not quite. There's definitely a line below it, but again, we just had a reverse split and like, you know what I mean? At the minimum, we're below all the lines. And then Mullen, again, we are below them all. One last time too, just to flash it, let's look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ, I'm gonna zoom in. NASDAQ needs to get over this 100 moving average tomorrow. NASDAQ must, for real must, close at 17,200. All right. If it does not, we actually have a green to a red that might bring us down to 16.2. One last time, these ones are a little bit sillier than the ones I'm about to cover. Maybe NASDAQ goes down and these go up because silly things tend to happen on silly tickers. You know what I mean? I say silly with all due respect if you're long and strong on any of these. You know that, right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Oh, I appreciate you so much.